explosion in New York City levels 2 buildings.
It was like a big boom. I thought it was the train at first, but then when we all came down, we seen it was the building.
2 are dead, many are hurt, and the blast happened with very little warning.
Dramatic weather changes on the way. We'll talk about a flash freeze tonight and what to expect during a snowy and slippery morning commute.
Reckless and on the run. Police chase a man who stole not 1, not 2, but 3 cars. How the pursuit finally ended.
Plus, booked a flight, then bumped to another. How airlines are changing itineraries and why there's nothing you can do about it.
Live from our studios in Boston, WBZ News at 5 starts right now.
We begin today with a developing story, a deadly explosion. A pair of New York City buildings blown to bits. Tonight, rescue workers are frantically searching for victims. I'm Jack Williams in for Jonathan.
I'm Paula Evan. Utility crews were on the way to investigate reports of a gas leak when the building blew up. Right now, we know at least 2 people are dead. 36 others are hurt. 2 of them have life-threatening injuries, and 10 people are still unaccounted for. Investigators have already ruled out terrorism. Witnesses say the explosion was so powerful it knocked groceries off store shelves.
Thunder. It's like a heavy thunder. Heavy thunder.
And it was so powerful that you heard the boom and then it rocked the whole apartment.
All of a sudden, this explosion goes off. Boom! The kinetic energy had the door fly open. My cat flies out the room. And I'm like, yo, what's going on here?
Well, the explosion happened around 9:30 this morning near 116th Street and Park Avenue in East Harlem. At street level, the building housed a church and a piano store. Apartments were above. Now all that remains is debris. Let's get live now to East Harlem. Here's Alexis.
It has been at least 8 hours since a deadly explosion rocked this East Harlem neighborhood in New York City, and still about 12 people are unaccounted for. Authorities say the death toll could rise. A gas leak is being blamed for this deadly explosion, one that could be felt 6 blocks away. Hours after a thunderous explosion rocked Upper Manhattan, firefighters were still working to put out the smoldering wreckage of 2 flattened buildings.
Come on, let's go out, man.
Cell phone video shot moments after the explosion shows people racing to help and flames shooting up from piles of bricks and debris. Officials say a gas leak was reported at one of the buildings about 15 minutes before the earth-shaking blast. 2 5-story buildings housing a Spanish church, a piano repair shop, and several apartments collapsed.
This is a tragedy of the worst kind because there was no indication in time to save people.
Darnella Mason lives 2 buildings away from the blast site and says the explosion threw her out of bed. What did it feel like for you?
I thought I was gonna die. I thought it was a bomb or something.
The explosion shortly after 9 this morning sent a thick cloud of smoke and dust over East Harlem. First responders wore masks to protect themselves. Emergency workers also handed out these particle masks to people in the neighborhood, warning that asbestos and other toxic debris could be in the air. Buildings in the immediate area were evacuated. There was so much wreckage scattered on the nearby train tracks that train service in the area was suspended for the day. About 250 firefighters are still on the scene battling flames and looking for victims amid the rubble. Live in the East Harlem section of New York, Alexis Christoforous, now back to you.
All right, Alexis, thank you. Stay with WBZ on our website, cbsboston.com. We'll have continuing coverage of this building explosion in New York City. And as soon as we get any new information, we'll bring it to you.
We have our eye on the storm as heavy rain moves into the area, but the rain will soon turn to snow, and get ready for a big temperature drop.
Oh boy, single-digit wind chills are on the way, and our chief meteorologist Eric Fisher joins us now with the first look at the AccuWeather forecast. Eric.
Hey there, Jack. Paul, good evening, everybody. The temperature is falling. This is going to be the biggest story for this particular storm. The snow really missing us to the north, and the rain enough to cause flooding with the flash freeze, enough to make it very treacherous later on tonight. So for Boston right now, upper 30s. We'll be in the low to mid-30s by midnight. It's after then the temperatures quickly drop back into the 20s. That's the way tomorrow morning is looking like. And so any of the rain showers and the snowflakes that we see will freeze right up in short order. Temperatures right now, very mild southeastern Mass. We're up into the 50s. You've got the 30s to the north and west, so a big gap in between, and a storm is going to track right along that boundary, right across us. As we get through tonight, watch your barometer. We'll be dropping back into the 970s as this crosses through. The center is in western PA, right here east of Pittsburgh. That's going to be trekking across the snow, heavy across New York State, Vermont, New Hampshire. They're closing in on a foot in parts of Vermont already. Around here, we've got the rain showers heaviest out toward the Berkshires, now into central Mass as this is working up toward Orange. So it'll be a wet drive for this evening. We'll see at least a quarter inch of rain, if not a little bit more. And then after midnight tonight, the cold air brings down the snow. So we'll see an inch to as much as 3. Chance for 3 a little bit farther north toward the New Hampshire border. The biggest totals by far with this as you work up into central and northern parts of New Hampshire, Vermont, New York, and Maine. 12 to 24 inches. Isolated totals could be even higher. Tomorrow, it is just all about the cold. Coming up, we'll talk about how much you might not like tomorrow, but how much you will like the weekend. Jack?
Sounds interesting. Eric, thank you. Breaking news tonight. 5 of 6 people wanted in connection with this attack on the Red Line turned themselves into transit police. Remember the incident? Broadway station started as an argument between 2 men. The flight grew. Police say the attackers punched and kicked and stomped the man, as well as 2 women who tried to step in to help. So far, no charges have been filed in the case. And this just in, what a mess. A sinkhole opened up behind the Moakley Federal Courthouse in South Boston. And this happened on a brick patio overlooking Boston Harbor. The area is now roped off. A courthouse spokesperson says the sinkhole could be related to construction happening right next door to the courthouse.
2 people are in custody tonight accused of breaking into a Lawrence home while a woman was still inside. The 40-year-old victim hid upstairs and called her husband. Ken McLeod was there as the 2 suspected thieves faced a judge.
Charged with breaking and entering.
Still wearing the clothes they were arrested in, David Rivera and his buddy Luis Contreras were arraigned this morning as police applauded the mother who made it happen.
She's a very brave woman.
It was yesterday afternoon when 2 guys broke into this house on Nesmith Street after no one answered their knock at the door. What the intruders didn't realize is that Estella Evans was at home by herself, and as they forced their way in, she locked herself in an upstairs bedroom and called her husband, who in turn called police.
I hope this is not a false alarm, but my wife just called me very quietly, and she's saying that somebody was trying to break in the house or something like that.
It was no false alarm. The burglars were going room to room, prompting Estella to take a more direct approach.
And when it sounded like they were going to go into her bedroom, she started screaming. I called the police. They are on their way.
That's when Estella heard the guys scrambling down the stairs and out the door, where she got a pretty good look at their retreat and relayed a description to arriving officers.
It's a scary situation, and to act like that's good.
Indeed, Rivera and Contreras were arrested several blocks away, toting a PlayStation, games, movies, and DVDs belonging to Estella's son. Police are encouraging future crime victims to cut out the middleman.
We would have preferred that you called us directly.
Both 19-year-old suspects had their bail set at $1,500 cash. Rivera told arresting officers he got the items from his cousin. In Lawrence, Ken McLeod, WBZ News.
A prominent local doctor is heading to prison for 6.5 years. Dr. Richard Keller pleaded guilty to 3 counts of child porn in November. Keller, who is on administrative leave from Children's Hospital in Boston, had tears in his eyes. He apologized during today's sentencing hearing. By the way, he also served as medical director at Phillips Academy for 19 years, and he taught classes at Harvard. Keller said he bought the porn from a Canadian company. Some charges against the Haverhill man caught on video taking pictures up the skirt of a little 7-year-old girl have been dropped. The Essex County District Attorney says the office is still pursuing child pornography charges against Stephen Hager. Right now, Hager's under house arrest wearing a GPS monitoring device.
After 5 days of searching, there are still no concrete answers about the disappearance of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, adding to the mystery and the frustration. Conflicting statements from airline officials and Malaysian authorities. Craig Boswell is in Washington tonight.
NTSB investigators, experts in air traffic control and radar, are now assisting Malaysian authorities trying to find the missing 777.
We are now working with many experts.
Interpreting radar data may be key, as Malaysian officials say military radar indicated Flight 370 may have turned left, changing course toward the Malacca Strait, hundreds of miles from its last known position in the South China Sea.
There is a possibility that this aircraft may turn back, but we are not sure whether
vast search area for the missing airliner has expanded on both sides of Malaysia, now covering more than 27,000 square nautical miles.
Time is not on our side. As every hour goes by, the search area gets bigger and bigger.
The Beijing-bound jetliner carrying 239 people vanished early Saturday. Authorities haven't ruled anything out. They're digging into the personal lives and professional records of the pilots, but insist they have an excellent service record.
We have no reason to believe that there was any actions internally by the crew that caused the disappearance of this aircraft.
Malaysian officials told frustrated families the last words from the cockpit to air traffic control were, "All right, good night," as Flight 370 headed for Vietnamese airspace. Greg Boswell for CBS News, Washington.
A federal judge will hear a defense request to dismiss some of the charges against Boston Marathon bombing suspect Johar Tsarnaev. Tsarnaev pleaded not guilty to all charges in a 30-count indictment. His lawyers say many of those charges are redundant. More than half carry the possibility of the death penalty. The judge will also hear a request to lift special restrictions on Tsarnaev behind bars. And that hearing is scheduled for April 16th, one day after the one-year anniversary of the bombings.
Now there's a push in Washington to get the government to release more information about the September 11th attacks. Lisa Hughes joins us now with late details. Lisa.
Well, Jack, a lot of people say it's time, and it's Massachusetts Congressman Stephen Lynch who's leading the charge to get the White House to declassify intelligence reports related to 9/11. When President George W. Bush was in office, he ordered 28 pages of the 9/11 report to Congress classified, and they've remained classified under President Obama. Congressman Lynch and his co-sponsor, North Carolina Congressman Walter Jones, have read these classified sections, and they say the nation deserves to know everything about what happened on 9/11.
12 years after the attacks, many unanswered questions still remain. I strongly believe that these pages contain information that is vital to a full understanding of the attacks on 9/11 and the circumstances that led to them.
Some of the family members whose loved ones were killed on 9/11 joined Congressman Lynch at today's news conference. The reports in question contain information collected before and after the attacks. And these family members agree, Paula, the public has the right to know everything.
Thank you, Lisa. Well, it is a guessing game. Coming up, Scott Brown goes to New Hampshire. Why? He'll have to make a decision about his political future sooner rather than later.
An SUV carjacked with a little child inside. How this wild police chase during the morning rush hour finally came to an end.
And cut off in traffic. How the driver of a big rig says he made the split-second decision that saved lives, but left his dangling in the balance.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Luna.
With Luna, buy one room of flooring, get all other rooms of product for just $50 each. 877-241 Luna.
It's the Toyota #1 for everyone national sales event. Toyota is #1 in what matters most to everyone, value. Now we're making you #1 with nationwide savings. Get a lowest ever #1 lease on a well-equipped Corolla Sport for only $118 a month with no cost maintenance included. Plus, recent and soon-to-be college grads can get an additional $750 rebate. #1 for everyone ends March 31st. Toyota, let's go places.
Honey, your dorm was so cute. But, well, I gotta run. Oh, yeah. Dad and I miss you so much. It's quiet around here without you. Well, we've been catching up on some sleep, eating up all those leftovers, and just trying to relax a little. Love you too. Bye, honey. No, I didn't tell her. I didn't want her to know we're having this much fun in the Daniel Webster Inn without her.
Things are heating up at Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries. It's the Red Hot Home Sale with the hottest prices around. Now, when you visit Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries and donate $20 or more to Ronald McDonald House Charities, you save 20% store-wide. Great-looking sofas, sectionals, chairs, and more. Get genuine Lazy Boy comfort and give comfort when it's needed most. Shop the Red Hot Home Sale. It's furniture you'll feel good about in more ways than one. Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries. Live life comfortably.
Nova Scotia. Discover what it's like to truly let yourself go. To travel on a whim across thousands of miles of unspoiled seacoast, lined with beaches waiting to be explored. Dive into some of the warmest ocean waters north of the Carolinas. Encounter friendly seaside towns full of life, but free from all the crowds. Spend afternoons savoring vineyards so beautiful they make other wine regions blush. Chart a course through sparkling waters and meet an ocean full of friends waiting to say hello. Then come alive with the night and find a rhythm that's happy to play as late as you are. Discover a vacation experience where the only thing you'll want more of is time. Freedom is a place, and it's here, Nova Scotia. Take yourself there.
Frightening moment for the driver of a tractor trailer after his big rig goes right over a guardrail and into the woods off 128 in Waltham. Take a closer look. You can see the truck's cab hanging down a hill. Christina Hager spoke with the truck driver about what forced him off the road.
How do you walk away from that?
It was mind rattling.
It was just before 5 in the morning.
Just luckily nobody was on the right side of me when it all happened.
Eddie Lucas had already unloaded half a truckload of food in Woburn and was headed south to Sharon to pick up another. That's when he says a car forced him off Route 128.
Some guy cut me off. I made an abrupt movement to avoid the situation, and I'm the one it happens to, you know.
What happened with the other vehicle?
He took off.
Across this stream, it had witnesses stunned.
I'm surprised that he walked out, yeah. It definitely, with no injuries.
Lucas has been trucking for 12 years. He says he knew if he swerved left, he'd have rolled the truck. The other choice was the unknown.
Almost felt like you were airborne for that half a second or second. And then it was just tree after tree after tree and splashed down in the river down there.
If walking away from this uninjured was the biggest challenge, next on the list was pulling this big rig out of the woods without breaking any of the fuel tanks and creating a hazmat situation. They did it between the morning and evening commutes, avoiding a brush with rush hour, just as this man dodged a brush with death. Do you feel like you have 9 lives?
After that trip, I probably used 8 of them up.
In Waltham, Christina Hager, WBZ News.
By the way, Lucas just texted us to say state police have recovered his iPhone, which was underwater for more than 6 hours with no case. The phone still works. What's he going to do next? After today, he says, I'm going to go play the lottery. I got to tell you, we're coming out on the short end of the stick on the weather lottery.
We are winning no lottery. You know it's bad when we're discussing how much we're going to hate tomorrow.
I always look to the optimistic side. I try to find the silver lining. Tomorrow's going to be terrible. It's not going to be fun to be outside.
Not going to hide it.
No, I'm not going to hide it. Let's talk about what's on the way, because lots of changes here as we head through tonight and into tomorrow. Part 1, we're in it right now. Batches of rain this evening, wet drive around, but it's all wet, it's not icy. Part 2 is the flash freeze, and that kicks in after midnight from north to south. The temperatures will plunge and be sub-freezing on the Cape by tomorrow morning. And then part 3 is the light to moderate snowfall. That too, from midnight and beyond, we're looking at generally a coating to as much as 3 inches of snow. Not a big snowstorm for us here, but combined with those cold temperatures is going to make travel extra slick for tomorrow morning. Temperatures right now, big contrast across the area. We zoom in a little bit, you still have the 50s and Randolph and Plymouth and Taunton. We move up to Norwood, 43 degrees. Bedford at 39 degrees. And eventually the cold wind is going to work its way southward. The real push of it doesn't happen until the storm itself passes us. And the center of that storm is right in here across western and central PA, about right on top of State College. That's going to track across southern New England. That's why we're not seeing the big snow out of this, the heavy snow on the north side of the system. So right now in Rutland, working up to the White Mountain region, Conway, Burlington, and into much of interior Maine. Lots of snow around here. It's the wet stuff. It's a pretty heavy rainfall down across the Berkshires, central Mass, and into southern New Hampshire. Not the type of rain that's going to cause any widespread flooding or anything like that. So as we head through this evening, you notice we're all still into the rain, 11 o'clock. Really still into the rain, but we're starting to mix with some sleet and freezing rain in southern New Hampshire. That's the line that starts to move south overnight. By the time we get toward 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, areas of light to moderate snow, but look at the temps. 20s everywhere, some freezing down across the South Shore, and eventually that gets through the Cape. So these snow totals are not astronomical, but when you factor in that very quick drop in temperature, the rain and the snow, all the moisture freezes right up. If your car's outside overnight, it's one of those situations where you wake up in the morning and your door might be frozen shut. A big rapid drop in temps. If we look at totals of snow and a coating to an inch for much of southeastern Mass, 1 to as much as 3 in Greater Boston. The best chance of 3 is up into southern New Hampshire. 3 to 6 for much of Cheshire and Hillsborough counties, but the big winners at 12 to 24 are across northern New England. The other part of this storm, the wind, that too picking up once it passes us. So tomorrow morning, gusts 30 to 50 miles per hour out of the northwest. That is really going to make for a tough morning to get out and about outside. That wind stays with us through the afternoon, and with the cold temperatures, as you might imagine, wind chill, tough to take. 6 a.m., single digits and teens. We head through the afternoon, perhaps even some sub-zero wind chills. It's going to stay that way all the way through the afternoon. So wrapping it up, our I scale, 2 moderate impact because of the slippery commute and the winds here from much of Metro Boston and Central Mass. A 1 lower impact with minimal snow for the Cape and the islands, but still the wind. We've got a little break on Friday and a much bigger break this weekend. We'll talk about that coming up. Jack?
Okay, Eric, thanks a million. Free agency in the NFL opened for business more than 25 hours ago. At this moment, still no signings yet for the Patriots.
Shouldn't take long, though, for one of its own free agents to find a new home and a big payday. Steve Burton's here with all the details.
A new home and a big payday in a big way for Aqib Talib. Yes, the Patriots are having a few players in for visits today, including former Panthers wide receiver Brandon LaFell, but it's the one that got away that's making headlines. Pro Bowl cornerback Aqib Talib was introduced today as a new member of the Denver Broncos. Last night they agreed to a 6-year deal worth $57 million, $26 million guaranteed. Talib said that even just a few days ago he never imagined he'd be a Denver Bronco.
I have to say no. It was other teams. It was kind of in the mix, and my agent was calling me about other teams. Then it was kind of like out the blue. Denver kind of swung in, and when they came in, they immediately went to the top of my list. Definitely.
Yeah, 56 mil will do that. We'll break down the entire free agency frenzy and take you behind the scenes of the NFL Combine on Patriots All Access Friday night at 7 right here on WBZ. Now, Talib also said he had no hard feelings toward Wes Welker after the big hit that knocked him out of the AFC Championship game, that he knew Wes didn't do it on purpose. Now that your teammates, well, he didn't.
That'll make it a little more interesting no matter what he says.
Exactly.
Thank you, Steve.
All right.
Steve, thanks so much. And the season is over for former Boston Bruin Rich Peverly. He made that announcement late this afternoon. Peverly now plays for the Dallas Stars, and he collapsed on the bench during a game on Monday with what doctors called a cardiac event. In his news conference today, Peverly praised all those who saved his life.
I'd like to thank everyone from past and present teammates and management, coaches, my agent, fans, and media, and the entire NHL family for all their support. It's been very much grateful. Thank you.
Peverly will undergo a procedure to treat an irregular heartbeat. His future in hockey after this season is unknown.
The Secretary of Education in Massachusetts today.
The big honor for a local school and why protesters were there to meet him.
Also ahead tonight, maybe your blood pressure is just a little high. Well, there's a new risk, even if your numbers are just slightly above normal. Now let's go to Lisa Hughes with a look at what's coming up at 6 o'clock.
Well, Jack and Paula, the I-Teams uncovered some new information about the driver at the controls when a Green Line trolley crashed into a tunnel wall. New at 6 o'clock why he was fired by the T 4 years ago and what happened that put him back on the job 2 years later. And you're going to love this on Wednesday's Child. Jack introduces us to Maya and Cassidy. They're two sisters who really love each other, and right now, you hate to hear this, they're living apart. So we're hoping to find a home that will reunite them at 6.
It's the Toyota #1 for everyone national sales event. Toyota is #1 in what matters most to everyone, value. Now we're making you #1 with nationwide savings. Get a lowest ever $287 a month lease on a Tundra Double Cab SR5 with no cost maintenance included. Or get a lowest ever $287 a month lease on a 4Runner with no cost maintenance. #1 for everyone ends March 31st. Toyota, let's go places.
All this week, Reed's Ferry Sheds are 10% off. Every Reed's Ferry Shed, 10% off list price now through Saturday, April 13th. See 5 acres of sheds on display at Reed's Ferry. Get better quality than the box store and save 10% on the shed price. Go online to reedsferry.com. Order this week and save 10% during the spring sale.
Call 888-85-SHEDS.
10% off a Reed's Ferry Shed. You got a good one.
It's made with wholesome ingredients. It tastes great, and it's competitively priced. That's H&K approved. Hearth & Kettle's three-part approval process ensures that every meal coming out of our kitchens meets high standards for quality, taste, and value. Many of our ingredients are organic or all natural and free of hormones, antibiotics, and artificial preservatives. Wholesome ingredients, great taste, competitively priced. That's H&K approved. Hearth & Kettle in Hyannis, Yarmouth, Orleans, Plymouth, and Weymouth.
Imagine finding the furniture you love at low sale prices. Now imagine upgrading to your choice of fabric at no extra charge. It's all possible at the Boston Interiors Custom Upholstery Sale. All our upholstery is made in the USA from quality materials you can trust to last. And this month only, it's all on sale. All chairs, sofas, sleepers, and sectionals. Plus, custom order any available fabric at the same price as stock. Come in soon and save. Sale ends March 31st.
He loves skiing and skateboarding, so Youngtown Sims combine them, creating a whole new way down the mountain. Uncompromising creativity. It's also how Mazda made a crossover that combines nimble handling with outstanding fuel efficiency. This is the Mazda CX-5. What do you drive? Now, get the 2014 Mazda CX-5 with SkyActiv technology for 0.9% APR for 60 months.
Health Watch is brought to you by Minuteman Health, affordable member-governed health insurance. Join the revolution.
On the Health Watch, important information for the tens of millions of Americans with slightly elevated blood pressure.
As Terry Okita shows us, researchers now say you could be at increased risk for a stroke.
Deep breath for me.
65-year-old David Larson was first diagnosed with borderline high blood pressure or prehypertension in his mid-20s.
I just enjoy life and a lot of fast food.
New research shows any blood pressure reading above normal may increase a patient's risk of stroke as much as 66%. Blood pressure between 120/80 and 139/89 is considered prehypertension. High blood pressure is 140/90 and above. It's estimated 31% of adults in the U.S. have high blood pressure and another 30% have prehypertension. Doctors currently recommend a low-sodium diet and exercise to treat hypertension. Cardiologist Jahandar Saleh says the findings suggest more studies need to be done to see if medication would be a good option for some patients.
I think that if you were to consider prehypertension, now again, as a risk factor for stroke, then you are dealing with millions of Americans.
For years, David ignored his doctor's orders to change his habits. He eventually developed high blood pressure and suffered a heart attack.
I figured that the big borderline, it wasn't a problem.
He hopes others will take the advice. He didn't. Terry Okita for CBS News, Northridge, California.
General Motors trying to make nice with some angry customers.
The automaker is offering up a big incentive after a massive recall.
Also has denied charge with killing his family, but this Weymouth man won't be going on trial anytime soon.
Is he in New Hampshire for more reasons than one? The decision Scott Brown has to make, and soon.
36 years in law enforcement. He knows Boston inside and out. And now he's sharing his expertise with you. Former Police Commissioner Ed Davis joins WBZ as our exclusive security analyst.
That'll require more officers, so I'm sure you'll see an increase.
Insight only Ed can offer. Only on WBZ News.
Today's weather on WBZ is brought to you by your New England Chevy dealers.
The all-new Chevy Silverado. From the family of the most dependable, longest-lasting, full-size pickups on the road. The truck that beats any Ford F-150 in fuel economy. And the 2014 North American Truck of the Year. And now, during Chevy Truck Month, the price you see is the price you pay for a 2014 Chevy Silverado. Now use special Truck Month pricing to get a total value of over $7,500 on the Silverado All-Star Edition with best-in-class V8 fuel economy.
Visit your New England Chevy dealer. Pay my bill.
Your account is already paid in full.
Huh. In that case, back to vacation mode.
Boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and
voice-enabled bill pay. Just a tap away on the Geico app.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Yep, everybody knows that.
Well, did you know that some owls aren't that wise? Don't forget I'm having brunch with Megan tomorrow.
Who?
Seriously, you've met her like 3 times.
Who? Geico.
Tonight's primetime lineup is brought to you by the all-new 2014 Jeep Cherokee, a 2013 top IIHS safety pick.
If we come backwards, straight to the dance floor, you'll still be waiting for me, will you still be my friend? I don't wanna bug you out with crazy, crazy ideas, for I know this ain't a good place for us to talk. You better get your move on.
Buy more, save more. Don't miss Lord & Taylor's biggest shoe sale of the season.
Winter's in full swing, and Butchika's in tax-free Salem, New Hampshire is your place to gear up for ski and snowboarding this year. Come in, get expert advice from our knowledgeable and experienced staff, browse our huge selection, and take advantage of our low prices on the latest equipment. Plus, get a lift ticket to J Peak with the purchase of any ski or snowboard package over $499. J Peak, the most snow in Eastern North America. Butchika Ski Shop, your skiing and riding connection. On Route 28 in tax-free Salem, New Hampshire.
Running the marathon? Share your story at cdsboston.com.
Checking our top stories, a deadly building explosion in East Harlem, New York. At least 2 people are dead, 36 are injured, and 10 are missing. Investigators think a gas leak caused the blast.
Also tonight, it has been one of those interesting parlor games in New Hampshire politics, but the future of former Massachusetts Senator Scott Brown still very much up in the air. Well, the one thing almost everybody agrees on, it's closing in on a time to make a decision.
New Hampshire Bureau Chief Michael Rosenfield has new insight into Brown's possible run-in for Senate with the Granite State.
Will former Massachusetts Senator Scott Brown jump in the race to unseat New Hampshire Senator Jeanne Shaheen this year? Brown's not saying, but it's had top pundits buzzing for months. The clock is ticking. Brown has about 3 more months to file the necessary paperwork, but political analyst Scott Spradling says that could be too late to run an effective campaign.
At some point, he has got to make a move, has to make a decision about whether he's going to run for office, and if so, which one. Because it seems like we're in a seesaw battle right now between a race for U.S. Senate and running for President of the United States.
Former New Hampshire Attorney General Tom Rath, who's advised Republican heavyweights like Mitt Romney and the Bushes, agrees the guessing game needs to stop, and Brown would have a shot, but it would be an uphill fight.
Is there a political opportunity here? The answer is there probably is. Because it may have less to do with Jeanne Shaheen and more to do with Barack Obama.
Democrats have pounced on Brown's move from Massachusetts to New Hampshire.
We enjoy tourists and visitors, but not necessarily for them to run for the U.S. Senate.
The state's Democratic Party says it looks like Brown wants to be wooed by the voters.
Well, maybe that's why he takes off his shirt so often. I don't know. He's an interesting character.
Scott Brown is expected to be a headliner at a Republican leadership conference in Nashua on Friday. Whether he has anything to say about this high-profile topic is anyone's guess right now. From Concord, New Hampshire, Michael Rosenfield, WBZ News.
We did reach out to Scott Brown for comment today, but have not heard back.
All right, well, if you're a snow lover, you can head on up to the north in the next couple of days. There'll be plenty of it on the ground. Ski season will go as long as you want it to. Snow coming down across New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, especially central and northern parts of New England. Here in southern New Hampshire, we've got rain showers. We're raining across Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island, and that's the way it'll stay throughout much of this evening. The snow doesn't come down until well after midnight. We change over, and tomorrow morning we will have snowflakes. Not major accumulation, but this combined with the temperature drop is going to make things extra slick for tomorrow morning. So that's our biggest concern. The cold moving its way in. Over the last 24 hours, look at these temperature changes. 30 to 40 degrees colder behind the storm, and the wind will be blowing. So you know those wind chill values will be well down there. We're up around the 40s right now in Boston. Down we go into the single digits by Friday morning, and that's our bottom. And on Friday afternoon, back around 40. By Saturday, up around 50. It's March, so things don't last for too long. We'll talk about the timing for all that coming up. Jack?
Eric, thank you. That Weymouth man accused in a gruesome triple murder back in 2011 will not be going on trial anytime soon. A judge ordered 21-year-old Donald Rudolph back to Bridgewater for 6 more months of psychiatric evaluation. Now, prosecutors say that Rudolph killed his sister, his mother, and his mother's boyfriend in November 2011. They think he's faking his mental illness, but Rudolph's lawyer says his client doesn't even understand what he's accused of.
he can't help me. He doesn't understand really what's going on, and he can't talk to me about anything that would help him in any way to defend him.
By the way, the judge will review the case again in 6 months.
A Boston man accused of stalking women at the Quincy Adams MBTA station is being held without bond. Prosecutors charged Tyreek Maston with carjacking and assault. Today in court, he pleaded not guilty. A judge ordered him held pending a dangerousness hearing next week.
Hey, General Motors offering cash to some owners affected by that massive recall. 13 people have died in crashes linked to ignition suddenly shutting off. GM has since recalled 1.6 million compact cars. GM says owners will get loaner cars while their vehicles are being repaired, and if they'd rather buy or lease a new vehicle, they'll get a $500 cash allowance.
We have our eye on education, and tonight an honor for a local high school.
We believe it's probably the first Secretary of Education that's ever made it to Worcester, and we were so happy to be able to showcase our students in our school this morning.
That's National Principal of the Year, Dr. Sheila Harrity, who was thrilled to welcome Secretary of Education Arnie Duncan as he recognized Worcester Technical High School as a blue ribbon school. Fewer than 1% of schools in the nation are named blue ribbon schools. But on the way in, the Secretary did see some protesters opposing the federal Common Core curriculum. What's your message to parents who are genuinely concerned it doesn't appear to be going well, and they're really concerned that it will weaken public schools?
Well, I come at this first and foremost as a parent. My wife and I have 2 young children. I think I want for my children what every parent wants for their children, is they want high standards. And this is something states have shown tremendous courage on raising the bar.
Now, the Secretary added the change is difficult, but Massachusetts has led the way with higher standards for schools, which Duncan says should always begin at the state and local level.
Well, here's what we need with the storm coming. The Boston Flower and Garden Show opened to the public this morning. Last night, there was a special preview party at the Seaport World Trade Center to benefit the Genesis Foundation for Children. Whoa, who's that? That's Paul, isn't it? And Mix 104.1's Carson and Kennedy hosted the event. Platinum-selling singer Matt Nathanson performed. I didn't realize he was originally from Lexington. Well, Paul and I were there along with anchor David Wade. More than 500 people turned out to support the Genesis Fund, which is a great organization.
Well, you book a flight that fits into your schedule, and the airline goes and changes it. Coming up, the unexpected move costing passengers a lot of money.
The internet celebrates its 25th anniversary, how the web changed the way we live and how it could affect your future.
American-owned, family-operated. Since 1829. No bull. Just lager. From America's oldest brewery, Yingling.
We bought our MDX because we needed something big enough for all our adventures, yet stylish and sophisticated enough for our urban lifestyle. The MDX delivered on both. Not to mention great cargo space, third-row seat, and a touchscreen with text messaging. The MDX was perfect.
During the Black Tag sales event, upgrade to the all-new MDX with low lease payments or special 0.9% APR financing with a portion of the proceeds helping to support Boston Children's Hospital. Learn more online at neaccuradealers.com.
What makes Greater Gardner Furniture Outlets a smarter way to shop for furniture? Come see for yourself. We've got the biggest selection of brand name furniture around. American-made, traditional, contemporary. With over 200,000 square feet of quality furniture and decorating ideas, we've got your style. And more than 250 brand names at outlet prices. 4 outlets, 1 destination. In the furniture capital of New England. Greater Gardner Furniture Outlets. A smarter way to shop for furniture.
Attention small business owners. It's your last chance on a great offer to get small business ready with our best speed available at your business location with Verizon high-speed internet and phone starting at $69.99 a month with a 2-year agreement. Call 1-866-SOLUTIONS now and get consistently fast high-speed internet and reliable phone with 99.9% network reliability starting at $69.99 a month with a 2-year price guarantee and a firm price quote of your total monthly charges for 2 years in writing up front. Speed and reliability that makes you small business ready. That's powerful.
Winter's in full swing, and Butchika's in tax-free Salem, New Hampshire is your place to gear up for ski and snowboarding this year. Come in, get expert advice from our knowledgeable and experienced staff, Browse our huge selection and take advantage of our low prices on the latest equipment. Plus, get a lift ticket to J Peak with the purchase of any ski or snowboard package over $499. J Peak, the most snow in Eastern North America. Butchika Ski Shop, your skiing and riding connection. On Route 28 in tax-free Salem, New Hampshire.
Okay, show us what you got.
Picture this for your next campaign.
Okay, what Commonwealth Motors really needs, just a touch of professionalism.
Professionalism?
Am I getting your attention?
There's a tanning bed here, and the cars can get tanned too.
Wow, that was really...
Boom! Explosion.
We just need to make sure that everybody knows we're constantly checking the competition's prices to guarantee our best price possible every day.
And you always say, shop us last, you'll love us.
In a crowd of light beers, how long does it take to find the Yingling Light Lager? About that long. 99 calories, 100% authentic lager. Yingling Light Lager. Rethink your light beer.
Before the World Wide Web, remember that? There were limits on how we reached people and who we could reach.
But over the past quarter century, we have certainly grown connected. On the 25th anniversary of the web, Jerica Duncan takes a look at the past and the possibilities for the future.
British computer scientist Tim Berners-Lee posed a question 25 years ago. What if computers could share information with each other? He diagrammed a web of ideas that would eventually lead to the World Wide Web and the internet as we know it today.
It was in 1989, and the internet already existed, and you could send email, but there was no websites. I imagined a system where you could just click from one to the other. 25
years later, almost all of us are connected through our computers, our phones, or even tablet devices. A poll by the Pew Research Center found that 87% of adults and 95% of teens in the U.S. use the internet on a regular basis. Young people like 23-year-old Mary Awadallah have grown up in a world where they can connect with anyone, anywhere, at any time.
And my closest friends right now, like one is in Beirut, one is in South Africa, one is in Morocco, and one is in Egypt.
67-year-old Ellen Levine has embraced the web, but sometimes longs for the days before the internet.
I think it was an easier way of living. You just didn't have everything in front of you.
Computer experts predict that our reliance on the web and technology will only increase.
Connected technologies that understand what's going on, maybe try to anticipate people's needs.
And soon be woven into all parts of our lives. Jerica Duncan, CBS News, New York.
Coming up tonight at 11 on WBZ News, an I-Team investigation. Delays at the state's DNA crime lab. Crime victims and defense attorneys say long delays are impacting justice.
It seems to have always been long, and it continues to be a long wait. Is it a long wait 7, 8, 9 months, or a year? I consider that to be a long time, and that persists.
Find out what's behind the delays at the state crime lab in Maynard. That's the I-Team tonight on WBZ News at 11.
A young child inside a carjacked vehicle, the dramatic police chase that ended with a state trooper in the hospital, but the driver behind bars.
And we'll be watching our temperatures drop off tonight. Be an icy and snowy commute for tomorrow morning. We've got the timeline for you straight ahead.
All right, Ark, and here's a look at what's hot right now on CBSBoston.com. We'll be right back.
BostonChoice.com, Massachusetts independent insurance agents, protecting the most important things in your life at the best possible price is what it's all about.
Representing the Andover companies.
TrustedChoice.com.
A man pioneers a way to see the unseen. Radar, forever providing safer journeys. The Mazda 6 uses radar in its available class-exclusive suite of 7 safety features for greater confidence behind the wheel. Introducing the Mazda 6. What do you drive? Now, get the 2014 Mazda 6 with Skyactiv technology for 0.9% APR for 60 months.
Honey, your dorm was so cute. But, well, I gotta run. Oh, yeah. Dad and I miss you so much. It's quiet around here without you. Well, we've been catching up on some sleep, eating up all those leftovers, and just trying to relax a little. Love you too. Bye, honey. No, I didn't tell her. I didn't want her to know we're having this much fun at the Daniel Webster Inn without her.
Next week, don't miss the most exciting event in college basketball. Who will be stopped and who will be unstoppable? Catch all the game day action on WBZ. Sponsored locally by Nasal Allergy 24 Hour. Stops more of what makes you miserable.
The most effective class of treatment for nasal allergies are 24-hour prescription nasal sprays. And now, one's available without one. New Nasacort. It relieves your worst nasal allergy symptoms, even congestion, for 24 hours. Nasacort stops more of what makes you miserable.
Lord & Taylor is having its biggest fashion sale of the season. Buy more, save more on select items. Must-have handbags at 25% off. 50% off men's fashions. And buy more, save more on women's sportswear. Get 30% off on the latest men's shoes. And buy more, save more on women's shoes too. At the biggest fashion sale of the season. Going on now. Get into the store or shop online at Lord & Taylor.
It's the Toyota #1 for everyone national sales event. Now we're making you #1 with savings. Get a lowest ever $199 a month lease on an Avalon with no cost maintenance included. Hurry, it ends March 31st. Toyota, let's go places.
TrustedChoice.com. Massachusetts independent insurance agents, protecting the most important things in your life at the best possible price is what it's all about.
Representing the Andover companies.
TrustedChoice.com.
This is the Name Your Price tool. It gives you options based on your budget. It's a piece of cake. I was told there would be cake. Get a free quote at Progressive.com.
CBS Money Watch Stock Update is brought to you by Buick.
We have some breaking news coming in involving that missing Malaysia Airlines plane. China now reports its government website has images of suspected debris. The jet carrying 239 people vanished Friday night Boston time. There was no distress signal.
We'll talk about a wild chase in Colorado. Police pursue a stolen SUV with a 4-year-old boy inside. Investigators say the driver carjacked a total of 3 vehicles before police captured him. The driver left a trail of destruction behind.
Yeah, state trooper was seriously hurt while trying to put down those stop sticks. Beth Germano shows the dramatic chase during the morning rush hour today.
Police say Ryan Stone stole this SUV from a gas station with a 4-year-old boy inside. Stone, who was wanted in a drug case, led officers on a 75-mile high-speed chase in the Denver area. Officers tried to back off at times as the SUV weaved dangerously in and out of traffic with the little boy in the back. After about 30 minutes, the 29-year-old suspect stopped at the side of the road, then forced 2 people out of a minivan and took off. The suspect swerved in and out of traffic for miles in the wrong direction. Officers say he clipped at least 2 cars and even hit a state trooper who was putting down devices to try to puncture Stone's tires.
Our trooper was transported to Littleton Hospital with serious injuries, expected to be okay.
The suspect later sideswiped this silver BMW, then yanked the driver out of her seat, carjacking his 3rd vehicle. He crashed at this intersection as authorities closed in.
The corner of my eye, I see a car coming at me that is running the red light, pretty fast speed. He T-bones me on the passenger side.
Stone took off on foot, and he tried to escape over a fence, but within seconds, police surrounded him. None of the carjacking victims was injured, including 4-year-old Alan Rodriguez. Stone could now face multiple charges, including kidnapping. Beth Germano, WBZ News.
Well, they got him. What a jerk. Let's get to the weather. We are in for some interesting time.
Where you start? But at least this time, the real cold, it's going to be fast, you say.
We're in March now, mid-March, and so when we get big cold spells or warm-ups, they tend to not stick around for too long.
That's good.
All right, well, let's get to it. Lots to talk about. Changes tonight. Part 1 we're in right now. Batches of rain moving across the area. Wet drive around for this evening, not icy. Part 2 is after midnight. Our flash freeze temperatures plunge from north to south, and everything will ice right up. Now, part 3 is light to moderate snowfall, which is late tonight into tomorrow morning. Not huge totals, but in tandem with that temperature drop, going to make things really nasty and treacherous out there on the streets, especially untreated surfaces. Now, the temperatures right now, big spread. We've got the 30s in Fitchburg and Worcester, 43 Boston. We head down toward Taunton, 54, 52 in Plymouth. It's this track between the cold and the warm air. That's where low pressure is going to go right across as we head through tonight. If you have a barometer in your house, keep an eye on it. The pressure should drop into the 970s as this crosses southern New England. Storm center is right here, right now, middle of Pennsylvania. On the northern end, you've got all the snow. Over 9 inches in Buffalo, daily record. They're approaching a foot in parts of Vermont and New Hampshire. Around here, just good old raindrops across the state and into southern New Hampshire. And that snow line will not move south until much later this evening. Here's a look at the timing as we head through tonight. Just periods of rain. It's not the type of rain that's going to cause any widespread flooding or big concerns of that nature. As we head toward 11, we're going to start to watch that mix line move into southern New Hampshire and then head southward. And it's between about 2 and 8 o'clock in the morning that our best chance of snow lies. Well, look at the temperatures. We've got the teens and 20s and sub-freezing air heading right on down across the Cape by the commute. And that's what's going to be so difficult about the drive tomorrow morning. And your car, if it's outside with the moisture, the doors probably just freeze right shut tonight. So it's going to be one of those challenging mornings for sure. The snow will taper down by mid-morning and just some flurries lingering as we head toward the midday hour. The cold sticks around all day. Snow totals 1 to 3 for Metro West, Central Mass, downtown Boston, a coating to an inch off toward the south and the Buzzards Bay region. We move into southern New Hampshire, 3 to 6. The big stuff, 12 to 24 for the mountains of northern New England. In terms of the wind, this really picks up once the storm passes. So as we head toward tomorrow morning, the winds are turning northwesterly and they're gusting up to 50 miles per hour. Those gusts stick around all day tomorrow. And because it'll be so cold outside, a wind chill that's pretty striking for this time of the year. Feeling like the single digits and teens tomorrow morning. Stays that way through the afternoon and maybe at times even going sub-zero across the area. Not what you'd like to see in mid-March. So on our eye scale, we've got 2 moderate impacts where we've got slippery conditions, the snow, and the gusty winds. For the Cape and the islands and down toward the south coast, minimal snow, but certainly still a wind, and it will be rather icy. But things don't last that long, as we mentioned, this time of year. Friday, after a very cold start, we'll get into a southwesterly flow. Temperatures up around 40 again. And on Saturday, up around 50 before we get another cool front that moves through. Overall, the weekend is looking pretty nice. So here's your AccuWeather 7-day forecast. Single digits for Friday morning. We may set some record lows. In the afternoon, upper 30s to low 40s. Nice evening. Saturday, it's just like last Saturday. A front moves through. Highs in the low 50s across the area. Not bad. Sunday around 40. Looks much colder for St. Patrick's Day and Tuesday. We're watching a storm that will be close. All right, our schoolyard shout-out for today. Went over to Holliston, the Miller Elementary School. Great class. Talked a little bit about the Weatherfields, and always great to be in Holliston. My in-laws are in Holliston, so it's nice to come by and visit and say hello to family and friends, new friends.
Do they give their son-in-law a hard time about the bad weather?
They don't. They know that I have to walk around and hear it from a lot of folks, which comes with the territory, so they give me a break.
So they're good.
Yeah.
Eric, thank you.
All right, Eric. A New Jersey teen who sued her parent for college tuition has decided to go back home to the family. Remember Rachel Canning? She left home just days before her 18th birthday, saying she couldn't live under her parents' strict rules. She later sued her mother and father, demanding child support along with high school and college tuition. Of course, last week a judge threw out her request. Firefighters in Rhode Island are calling a dog a real lifesaver. Early this morning, a 50-year-old East Providence man was sleeping when his laptop battery overheated and caused the mattress to start on fire. Well, the man's dog, Liberty, woke him up. The dog was licking him in the face, alerting him to the danger. Both of them got out of the home safely.
2 Paralympic athletes with local ties are on the medals podium. Lori Stevens claimed bronze today in the women's sitting slalom. The Rentham native also won bronze medals earlier this week in the downhill and the Super G. This is Stevens' 7th Paralympic medal. And U.S. skier Tatiana McFadden won a silver in the women's 1K sprint sitting event. Her name may be familiar to you. She's the defending Boston Marathon champion in the women's wheelchair category. Team USA has won 7 medals in alpine skiing through day 5. The 2014 Paralympics runs through Sunday. We wish all of the athletes well.
Throwing vacation plans off course.
Why passengers are being forced to pay when airlines make a sudden change to their flight schedule.
Your next trip to the registry will probably be more expensive. Coming up new at 6 o'clock, the fees now being raised by the registry and how these hikes could end up costing some people their jobs.
And the I-Team uncovers new information about the driver who was involved in this week's Green Line crash. He was fired by the T 4 years ago. So why was he back on the job? The answer next at 6.
It's made with wholesome ingredients. It tastes great and it's competitively priced. That's H&K approved. Hearth & Kettle's 3-part approval process ensures that every meal coming out of our kitchens meets high standards for quality, taste, and value. Many of our ingredients are organic or all natural and free of hormones, antibiotics, and artificial preservatives. Wholesome ingredients, great taste, competitively priced. That's H&K approved. Hearth & Kettle in Hyannis, Yarmouth, Orleans, Plymouth, and Weymouth.
Romance blossoms at the Boston Flower and Garden Show, March 12th through the 16th at the Seaport World Trade Center. Stroll among alluring landscapes and unique floral displays. Learn the latest trends, meet master gardeners, and more. Buy tickets at bostonflowershow.com.
Check this out. One room of beautiful North American hardwood, completely installed for just $999. And this isn't just any hardwood, it's genuine Armstrong hardwood, the most trusted name in flooring. Call National Floors Direct at 888-400-FLOOR.
AdCare Hospital is a medical facility specializing in the treatment of alcohol and drug addiction.
From hospital level of care to outpatient services, AdCare provides individualized treatment.
Call 1-800-345-3552 or visit adcare.com.
Life is full of surprises, some good, some not so good. Don't get caught by surprise. Ask an independent agent about safety insurance enhanced coverage for auto, home, and business. Safety insurance will help you manage life's storms.
Get ready. Wherever spring finds you, a Subaru with symmetrical all-wheel drive can help you enjoy it. Get ready for spring in a brand new Subaru Outback. Awarded Top Safety Pick Plus by the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. Drive home a brand new Subaru Outback. Well equipped for only $23,795. Plus, get 0% financing for up to 36 months. Get a great deal and don't love spring.
Is there anything cool, unique, or innovative happening at your school? We want to hear about it. Tell us what makes your classroom special. We'd love to share your stories in our Eye on Education series every week on WBZ News at 5. When you want to change a flight you've already booked, you usually have to pay a fee. But if your airline decides to change its schedule in advance, many times you're still stuck paying more. As Michelle Roberts shows us, it's a problem likely to get worse in the future.
Nicole and her family nearly missed the boat on their last vacation.
We were extremely angry and upset.
The airline changed their flight time months after they had booked the trip. The new schedule had the group landing hours after the boat had already set sail.
We called the airline and they basically just told us there wasn't anything else they could do, that all flights were booked.
The airline refunded the frequent flyer miles used to buy the tickets, but Nicole and her family had to spend more than $700 to book a flight with a different airline.
Airlines can change their schedules without any repercussions whatsoever. There's no federal law that prevents them from doing so.
And we're not talking about delays due to weather or mechanical issues. These are simply scheduled changes the airline can make whenever they choose.
Increasingly, airlines are eliminating flights. They're not flying where they used to fly.
JetBlue says schedule changes are an inherent part of the airline industry. And American Airlines says we make adjustments as necessary based on crew and aircraft availability.
If the airline has changed your flight and that flight is not convenient for you, you can absolutely get a refund.
There's no guarantee that the refund will cover the cost of the new flight. The U.S. Department of Transportation has no plans at this point to require airlines to compensate passengers for these schedule changes, but they do say small claims court could be an option for some travelers. Michelle Roberts, WBZ News.
Stay with us. We have much more still ahead. The news at 6 starts right now.
Fired by the MBTA, then put back on the job. The I-Team uncovers new information about the driver under investigation in the Green Line crash.
From spring-like warmth to near record lows, we've got wind, some ice, some snow, and rain all in the forecast. We'll take you through the timeline over the next just 36 hours.
A deadly blast in New York City. Warning signs that came too late before an explosion leveled 2 buildings.
And and the rising cost of hitting the road. The RMV bumping up fees. How much more it will cost to drive.
Live from our studios in Boston, WBZ News at 6 starts right now.
Well, we're in for it. Heavy rain moving in, the start of a wild winter storm. I'm Jack Williams.
I'm Lisa Hughes. I want to show you a live picture now of the roads. This is 93 North in Medford. Light rain out there. Could be a wet ride, though, this evening. When the temperature drops later tonight, much of the water will ice up, and that's before the snow moves in. Our chief meteorologist, Eric Fisher, joins us now, and he has his eye on the storm. Eric?
Hey, Lisa, you know what I noticed in that Mobile 4 shot? The fact that it's still daylight. It's already a little change compared to March storms and the storms that we dealt with back in January and February. Winter weather advisories out for almost all of our area. Winter storm warnings farther to the north, where by far there will be snowfall winners from this one. The storm itself centered right here in Pennsylvania, tracking across southern New England tonight. That puts the axis of heaviest snow to our north. We get the wet weather on the forefront of this. So we've got showers across the region, some heavier rain in the Connecticut River Valley right now, and that'll be tracking its way east. All wet for tonight. And then as we get toward midnight in the Boston area, we're right in the mid-30s. After that, our flash freeze. The temperatures fall below freezing, so any of the rain starts to ice up. Plus, we'll add some snow on top of that, and it stays cold into the day tomorrow. So really, it's late tonight and tomorrow morning, the highest impact for us from this particular storm. This is the snow we're expecting. Not huge totals by any stretch of the imagination, but this combined with that quick drop in temperature, really slick stuff as you head out the door tomorrow. And the cold, a huge story, because falling about 30 to 40 degrees behind this particular storm system, and that's what we're going to be feeling as you head out the door. Wind chill values in the single digits tomorrow. Just rain, though, for this evening. We'll talk more about the full timing for this and some better weather for this weekend coming up in a little bit. Lisa?
All right, thanks, Eric. Join the WBZ News Morning Team tomorrow at 4:30, bright and early, for the very latest on this storm and how it's affecting that morning commute.
New at 6 o'clock, an I-team investigation tonight. New information on that driver who was at the controls during Monday's crash on the Green Line. WBZ has learned that he was fired by the MBTA 4 years ago, but then he was reinstated. Chief Correspondent Joe Shortsleeve joins us now with late information. Joe.
Lisa and Jack, it certainly looks like the MBTA has been concerned about this driver for a long time. Yes, in fact, in 2010, they fired Sidley Gardner, the operator of the trolley, which derailed on Monday. This is a 48-year-old Sidley Gardner, the driver of the MBTA trolley, which derailed on Monday just west of Kenmore Station on the Green Line, causing injuries and hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage. You can hear him talking with passengers. Back on the train. The I-team has learned MBTA managers did not want him behind the controls. We've learned the 48-year-old driver was fired by the MBTA for failure to report an accident. Sources tell me it was the fall of 2010 when Gardner was operating a trolley here on Commonwealth Avenue in the area of Boston University. At some point, the trolley apparently came in contact with a person on the platform. But Gardner never reported it and was fired. In 2011, the union filed a grievance challenging Gardner's dismissal, and in 2012, an arbitrator agreed, and he was reinstated. 10 people were taken to the hospital in Monday's derailment. The MBTA found no problems with the signals, track, or trolley. Speed is now considered a likely cause, and the finger of blame is clearly pointed at Gardner, who was hired in 2008. At that time, there was no driving record check for MBTA drivers. His personal driving history includes 20 moving violations, including speeding 7 times. Now, the MBTA did not start checking driving records for new hires until 2009. Now, I just got a copy of the accident report for that September 2010 incident. In it, transit police blamed the woman on the platform, saying she moved in front of the moving trolley while trying to pick something up. A witness tells us Gardner did try to help the woman, but sources say the problem is he never reported it. For the I-team, Joe Shortsleeve, WBZ News.
Well, now to a developing story in New York City. The search for survivors after a deadly explosion and building collapse. A gas leak leveled 2 buildings this morning. 2 people are confirmed dead. At least 62 were hurt and 10 are still missing. And because firefighters spent hours putting out the flames, they had to wait to start searching. Paula Evans joins us now. And Paula, this isn't far from Central Park.
Lisa, the explosion was in Harlem. This is what the block looked like before the blast. One of the buildings had a church, the other a piano store, but both had apartments overhead. This morning, a gas leak destroyed it all in just seconds.
Go out, man! This is a tragedy of the worst kind because there was no indication in time
to save people.
The explosion ripped apart 2 buildings, shattering windows for blocks and shaking the neighborhood.
I heard the explosion, I felt my room shake.
I was in my house and all of a sudden the building shook. That's when I started seeing whole smoke and everything. That's when they told me that the whole building collapsed.
A neighbor reported she could smell gas at 9:13 this morning. Con Edison dispatched a crew 2 minutes later. They arrived too late.
As we were driving up, our people could see the smoke coming into the air.
A woman who worked in the church that was in the building said she smelled gas last night.
Last night at the corner, at the northwest corner, there was an odor, and I went into the store there at the corner to let him know in case it was from his building, and he said he would look into it, and then we went home.
Terrorism has been ruled out, but the FBI is helping at the scene. 2 of the injured are FBI agents who just happened to be driving by in a car at the time of the explosion. Jack?
All right, Paula, thank you. A truck driver who walked away from a wild crash that sent his tractor trailer into the woods says he feels really lucky he survived a brush with death. A car cut off Eddie Lucas on 128 in Waltham early this morning. He swerved to the right to avoid getting hit. He wound up deep in the woods. Now, Lucas says traffic was busy for that time of day. He knows this could have turned out much worse.
Quite a few cars out this morning. Quite a few out. I mean, 4:45 people getting up, getting ready to go to work. You know, just luckily nobody was on the right side of me when it all happened.
Do you feel like you have 9 lives?
After that trip, I probably used 8 of them up.
Crews have removed the truck between the morning and afternoon commutes to avoid tying up traffic again during this afternoon's rush hour.
Well, the Registry of Motor Vehicles is driving up costs. The state has approved a series of fee hikes, and they take effect this summer. Now, the cost of registering your car, that is now going to be $60. Your inspection sticker, that'll run $35. And taking your road test so that you can get your license goes up from $20 to $35. As John Keller shows us, the RMV says it needs to raise these fees to close a big budget gap.
Those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
No dissent at the State Department of Transportation Board meeting. They all agreed they have no choice but to increase what a recent WBZ I-Team report showed was a whopping $600 million haul in registry fees.
It's never a good time to ask people to pay more, but it's also never a good time to have a blown-out tire, get stuck in traffic, to be on a broken-down train.
But it certainly will cause some attrition in the number of people that we hire.
But out in the private sector, where this limousine company owner operates on thin profit margins, squeezed by rising taxes, healthcare costs, and other expenses, the latest round of fee hikes has him wondering about the future viability of his business.
More regulation, more fees, and if it gets to be like New York, we'll have to make the decisions about whether we're going to continue to operate in Boston or not. So.
And while Rudder recognizes the need for infrastructure repairs that do benefit his business, he wonders why state government can't manage to set a budget and stick with it.
What's your response to him?
Well, we are. I mean, we have set a budget.
We haven't been for many years, though. That's why we're in this hole. Isn't that right?
No, that's fair. Absolutely. And I think part of the challenge has been, it sounded like mumbo-jumbo in the meeting, but the bottom line is, for 2 decades, transportation has been paying for operations on the state credit card.
So, driving in Massachusetts, to the surprise of absolutely no one, is about to become more expensive. And that raises a couple of questions. Will it start driving jobs and business away? And where will it all end? In Boston, John Keller at large, WBZ News.
Coming up on WBZ News tonight, out of order, a sinkhole opens up right behind the federal courthouse in South Boston.
Also ahead, another Denver defection. Aqib Talib explains why he decided to leave the Patriots.
On Wednesday's Child tonight, sisters who really love each other, but they're now living apart. We're hoping to find one family that will reunite them.
And our weather getting pretty nasty overnight. It'll be a very tricky drive for tomorrow morning, but the cold won't stick around for too long. We've got the timing for kitchen sink coming up.
Bernie & Phil's Furniture. We deliver living room furniture with a little more, like long-lasting leather in a wide variety of styles. Bold, expressive, and warm. Leather makes a statement. And at Bernie & Phil's, you can expect a little extra. Purchase $9.99 or more this week and get 20% off toward a future purchase, an instant $100 Bernie & Phil's gift card, and free financing.
Bernie & Phil, 40 comfort and price.
When you have a problem like cancer, you want to know, what does that mean for me?
At the Dana-Farber Brigham and Women's Cancer Center, we want to make sure that we give you state-of-the-art treatment that's very specific for your cancer.
We look at your cancer and we think, maybe we can train your immune system to go after the cancer. We understand the genes that make cancers go.
The radiation dose that you receive is your dose, sculpted to the shape of your cancer.
Right now you have cancer, but what your cancer doesn't know is that you have us.
Dana-Farber Brigham and Women's Cancer Center. Let's take the first step together.
If I could jump backwards straight to the dance floor, you'll still be waiting for me, will you still be my friend? I don't wanna bug you out with crazy, crazy ideas, for I know this ain't a good place for us to talk. You better get your move on. You better keep on moving.
Buy more, save more. Don't miss Lord & Taylor's biggest shoe sale of the season.
Nova Scotia. Discover what it's like to truly let yourself go. To travel on a whim across thousands of miles of unspoiled seacoast, lined with beaches waiting to be explored. Dive into some of the warmest ocean waters north of the Carolinas. Encounter friendly seaside towns full of life, but free from all the crowds. Spend afternoons savoring vineyards so beautiful they make other wine regions blush. Chart a course through sparkling waters and meet an ocean full of friends waiting to say hello. Then come alive with the night and find a rhythm that's happy to play as late as you are. Discover a vacation experience where the only thing you'll want more of is time. Freedom is a place, and it's here in Nova Scotia. Take yourself there.
He loves skiing and skateboarding, so young Tom Sims combined them, creating a whole new way down the mountain. Uncompromising creativity. It's also how Mazda made a crossover that combines nimble handling with outstanding fuel efficiency. This is the Mazda CX-5. What do you drive? Now, get the 2014 Mazda CX-5 with SkyActiv technology from 0.9% APR for 60 months.
We've learned that the day after the first anniversary of the marathon bombing, the suspect will ask a judge to dismiss some of the charges against him. The judge scheduled the hearing for Johar Tsarnaev's request for April 16th. Tsarnaev's lawyers say some of the charges are redundant. The 20-year-old suspect also wants some of the special security measures on him lifted. MBTA police say they have identified most of the people who were involved in a brutal beating on the Red Line. The video of Sunday night's attack was released yesterday. Transit police now say that 5 of the 6 suspects have turned themselves in. Police have not yet filed any charges.
The ground actually gave way behind the Moakley Courthouse as a sinkhole opened up. It happened either late last night or early this morning at that brick patio right behind the courthouse. Engineers are checking it out. They say it may be related to some construction which is taking place adjacent to the courthouse. The patio goes without saying. We closed it for a while. And quite frankly, we probably wouldn't be using it for the next few days anyway.
No, we're not going to miss our patio with these temperatures and the rain and the snow, Eric.
Make it stop. I'm ready for patio season. I want a nice cold beverage. I want the sun shining. Won't happen tomorrow. You definitely won't be outside for too much tomorrow. We're in part 1 of our storm. This is just rain. Wet evening here. Certainly a wet drive around town, but nothing major for this evening. Part 2 is the flash freeze. That kicks in after midnight as our temperatures drop rapidly. And then after midnight as well, the snow starts to change over. We'll see some fairly minor accumulation with those cold temps really slick late tonight into tomorrow morning. Temperatures, big changes across the area. You've got 30s here for central Mass. You head on down around Taunton and Randolph and Plymouth and Scituate even. You're looking at temperatures that are in the 50s. And the combination in between there, that one dividing line, that's a boundary that our storm is going to track along as we head through tonight. Storm itself centered right about in here, middle of Pennsylvania, comes across southern New England, and check out your barometer tonight. If you've got one at home, it will be dropping very low. This is stuff that creates some achy joints around the area. The snow area has been across upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. They're approaching a foot of snow already, and they've already had almost all the flights canceled out of Burlington Airport, so they're about shut down for the evening. Around here, it is all rain, and that's the way it stays till at least midnight. So all of our snow is after that point. Tomorrow morning, it will still be coming down. Generally looking at about 1 to 3 inches of snow, 3 to 6 in the southern New Hampshire. Certainly not our biggest storm, but you won't notice this temperature change. As we head through this evening, again, tracking the rain showers. And then as we head past midnight, we're falling back through the 20s and the 30s, starting to see that change over to some mix. Could be some sleet and freezing rain briefly, and then the snow by tomorrow morning. And by now, the temperatures are falling sub-freezing all the way down to Cape Cod and the islands. So the bottom line is, be extra cautious for tomorrow morning. The snow will start to wrap up by mid to late morning. We won't see any accumulation after that. Now, to go along with this, once the storm passes us tonight, that's when the winds turn northwesterly, and that brings in the cold air on very gusty winds. 30 to 50 miles per hour tomorrow morning. It'll stay that way all afternoon. It's going to be a tough one to get motivated to head outside. I'll give you that. So you wake up tomorrow morning, you won't be feeling a need to really just run outdoors. 6 a.m. wind chills, single digits, and teens. It will stay that way again through the afternoon, at times even going sub-zero. Not something you see too often in March, especially mid-March. So on our ice scale, we've got 2 moderate impacts, the slippery conditions, the strong wind gusts for tomorrow, and toward the Cape and the South Coast, a 1 low impact event. Yes, it will be slick, up the tree to all the roads out there, and the winds will be quite gusty. The cold we all have to deal with. Now, in terms of Friday, things change quickly in March. So as high pressure moves to our south, we get the southwesterly winds. Temperatures up near 40 degrees again. By Saturday, we're up around 50 degrees. Cool front moves through in the afternoon. Overall, it's a weekend looks exactly like what we saw last weekend. So, to break it all down, bitterly cold tomorrow. Record lows possible tomorrow night. Friday starts frigid. Friday afternoon, by the end of the day, feeling much better. Saturday, feeling great. Couple of rain showers. Shouldn't be a big deal. Sunday, around 40. St. Patrick's Day and into Tuesday. There'll be a coastal storm. It's going to be close. The cold air is going to keep it that day. We'll keep an eye on it, but just a sign, winter is not done yet. Jack, Lisa, back to you.
It is hanging on. All right, Eric, thanks. Talking about the Patriots tonight and some changes.
Yeah, there's free agency, but nothing big yet, huh?
Nothing big yet, except for the players in the league.
Right.
That's big. Patriots released defensive tackle Isaac Sopoaga today, and now the NFL Network's Albert Breer is reporting the team is discussing a contract extension with Vince Wilfork to lower his salary cap figure altogether. Meanwhile, former Patriot Pro Bowl quarterback Aqib Talib was introduced as a Denver Bronco today. Late last night, they agreed on a 6-year, $57 million contract with $26 million guaranteed. Talib says the Broncos really went all out to get him.
They kind of just focused on me, and showed how much that they wanted me here. So that played the biggest part. I just wanted to go somewhere where I was wanted, where I felt wanted, and where I felt like the guys wanted me.
And the Broncos weren't done loading up their defense. They also agreed to a 3-year, $30 million deal with former Cowboys defensive end DeMarcus Ware to go along with new safety T.J. Ward, the former Brown, whose hit ended Gronk's season last year. Hey, but there's hope. How would you like to see this guy come to Foxborough? The Buccaneers released star cornerback Darrelle Revis today. Denver didn't want to keep him at his $16 million a year salary, but seeing what Talib got, I can't imagine Revis will come cheap. We'll break down the entire free agent frenzy and take you behind the scenes at the NFL Combine. On Patriots All Access Friday night at 7, right here on WBZ. Bruins and Celtics are both in action tonight. The Bees are up in Montreal taking on the Canadiens, while the Celtics play the Knicks at the Garden. And it was BC Pro Day for football at the Heights. Gavin Rhodes says it was a day for testing for those who want to play on Sundays.
They were under the watchful eyes of scouts from 29 different NFL teams, including the Patriots, as they hope to hear their names called on draft day in a couple of months.
It'll be the culmination of all the hard work we put in these last 4 years at BC, me and my team. It'll be just a culmination of all the determination that, I've had up until this point.
My pops played in the NFL, so right away, I remember whenever I was in first grade, teacher said, what are you going to be when you grow up? I said, football player. And she kind of went around the room and she was like, well, you got to pick something else. You got to be something else. And I was like, well, why? Why do I got to pick something else? At that time, I was like, I'm the biggest and fastest kid. I think I can do it.
If you think about it, there's so many people around these young men rooting for them to fulfill their NFL dreams, whether it be family, friends, teammates, and maybe their biggest cheerleader, their head coach.
There are guys, BC guys, and we want to put our guys right out front and talk about all the great characteristics and all the great traits that they have on the field and off the field.
Let's hope their dreams come true. Dan Roach, WBZ Sports.
All right, thanks, Roachy. Big college hoop game tonight at Agganis Arena. BU hosts the American University for the Patriot League Championship. The winner gets an automatic berth to the big dance. Also, BC plays Georgia Tech and the opening round in the ACC tournament. Well, the season is over for former Boston Bruin Rich Peverley. He made the announcement late this afternoon. Peverley now plays for the Dallas Stars. He collapsed on the bench during a game on Monday with what doctors called a cardiac event. In his news conference today, Peverley praised all those who saved his life.
I'd like to thank everyone from past and present teammates and management, coaches, my agent, fans, and media, and the entire NHL family for all their support. It's been very much grateful. Thank you.
Peverley will undergo a procedure to treat an irregular heartbeat. His future in hockey after this season is unknown. And our hearts and prayers certainly go out to Rich Peverley and his family.
I tell you, that's scary.
It is scary.
Regular heartbeat.
It is scary. And he woke up and wanted to know how much time was left in the period. You know?
Can I ask you about Vince Wilfork before you go, too? These discussions, they surprise you at all?
No, Vince was coming off a tough year, and all of a sudden he got hurt, and, you know, he's got a big cap number, and all of a sudden they wanted to try and bring that cap number down. Darrell Revis is still out there. And if the Patriots get Darrell Revis, you will forget about Aqib Talib.
Heard it here first.
Thank you, Steve. CBS Evening News coming up in a moment at 6:30.
And Scott Pelley joins us live from New York now with a preview. Scott?
Lisa, Jack, great to be with you in Boston. There's breaking news on the missing Malaysia aircraft. The Chinese have just released satellite photos of objects floating in the water near the region where the plane was last known to be before it vanished 5 days ago. Chinese are not saying they've discovered the plane, but they are interesting clues, and we will have them for you right at the top of the broadcast coming up on the CBS Evening News in about 10 minutes.
Thank you, Scott. Coming up next on Wednesday's Child, Maya and Cassidy. A pair of cute and funny sisters will definitely put a smile on your face.
Someone's turning victims into real zombies.
Those bite wounds came from other victims.
It's a bite to the death through criminal minds. Then, sometimes when you rock and roll all night, you pay the price.
What happened in here?
Rock stars, drugs, and groupies. Talk about a lethal combination. Gene Simmons guest stars. You can kiss my... Oh! What are you doing? All new CSI after an all-new Criminal Minds. CBS tonight.
Right now at Jordan's, with any Sunbrella sofa or sectional, you'll get a free spring cleaning from our friends the Maids. The industry leader, voted Best of Boston from Boston Magazine. It's a $400 value, yours free. Sofas start at just $7.99.
It's the Toyota #1 for everyone national sales event. Toyota is #1 in what matters most to everyone, value. Now we're making you #1 with nationwide savings. Get a #1 Prius C lease for a lowest ever $97 a month with no cost maintenance included. Or current Toyota owners can get 0 for 60 plus $12.50 bonus cash on a Prius liftback. #1 for everyone ends March 31st. Toyota, let's go places.
Come on, big boy, come on.
Wait, you have to take this back.
You ordered the Fall Fantasy?
I only had this watch. I never saw how it looked.
I think it's beautiful.
Oh.
At Lazy Boy, you don't have to worry how the fabrics, leathers, and options will look, because you can see it before you order it. Now during our Red Hot Home Sale. 20% off with a donation to RMHC.
Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries. Live life comfortably.
March into winning at Foxwoods Resort Casino on March 23rd. We're giving away a Jeep Sahara with a Sea-Doo jet ski and trailer. And 4 lucky winners each receive $1,000 bonus slot play. All guaranteed. Catch winning entertainment with stars like Jay Moore, Don Omar, and Miley Cyrus. And our St. Patrick's Day food and drink specials. You won't want to miss Wine and Design with Drunken Palate. Friday, March 14th, 21st, and 28th at our new lounge, The Box. Meet up with friends and enjoy a cocktail and live DJ every Saturday night at Foxwoods Resort Casino.
My dad is always saying, there's no such thing as a free lunch. That's why I couldn't wait to tell him about really free checking at Commerce Bank. There's no minimum balance and no monthly fees. And he gets free mobile check deposit too. So then Dad says, I'm gonna switch over to that really free checking account at Commerce Bank. Thanks for the good advice. Maybe he'll finally buy a smartphone.
Sunbrella is the most cleanable fabric we've ever offered. In my opinion, it's the most durable upholstery fabric in the world. And it comes in hundreds of styles and colors, resists stains and fading. You can even clean it with bleach, and it's only at Jordan's.
children end up in state care, it often means separating sisters and brothers, and that is tough on them, especially in the case of two little sisters you're about to meet on Wednesday's Child.
Yeah, these two little girls are pleading with the world to please let them be reunited in an adoptive home.
My name is Maya. Hi, my name is Cassidy.
And where are we?
We're at Build-A-Bear.
Both of these sisters are cute beyond words, and boy, were they enthusiastic about the adventure. They love being reunited. Maya is in a group home. Cassidy is with a foster family. But it's tough being apart.
But when we get a new home, we'll start to live together.
Will that be exciting?
Yes.
Tell me about your sister. Do you love her?
I love her. And I think about her every night. She loved me a lot, and I miss her, and I love her too.
Do you like school?
Yes, I do like school.
What's your favorite subject?
Gym. Lunch.
Lunch.
Subject means favorite place. Favorite place is recess. I like to play dolls.
Do you? You're just a girly girly.
Sometimes I like to skate.
Oh, guess I better shut up, right?
And I skate too, and I love to play with my sister with the Barbies.
And how cute are they?
How long have they been apart? Do you know?
It has been a couple of years, and one's in a great group home, another's in a great foster family, but I mean, they really miss each other.
I mean, you can tell the way they're hugging one another. And
see that look that she gave me?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Not all
when
girly
I said
girly.
girly, really? Well, I like to skate.
That's right.
Oh, they're cute. For more information on Maya and Cassidy, you can call the Massachusetts Adoption Resource Exchange, 1-800-882-1176. For a lot of the positive, families, you can check out our website, Success Stories, Jack Williams, Wednesday'sChild.com.
And we'll be back right after this.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Harlem Globetrotters. Playing at TD Garden on Saturday, March 29th and Sunday, March 30th. Purchase tickets at the box office or online at Ticketmaster.com.
American-owned, family-operated. Since 1829, no bull, just lager. From America's oldest brewery, Yingling.
Why sleep on a no-name mattress when you can have a Sealy for less?
The Sealy Posturepedic Classic at Bernie and Phil's.
Classic Posturepedic quality, starting at just $3.99 for a queen set.
Come see why Bernie and Phil's is the #1 Sealy dealer in New England.
Romance blossoms at the Boston Flower and Garden Show, March 12th through the 16th at the Seaport World Trade Center. Stroll among alluring landscapes and unique floral displays. Learn the latest trends, meet master gardeners, and more. Buy tickets at bostonflowershow.com.
Wherever spring finds you, a Subaru with symmetrical all-wheel drive can help you enjoy it. Get ready for spring and a brand new Subaru Forester, Motor Trend's 2014 Sport Utility of the Year. Drive home a brand new Subaru Forester, a top safety pick plus, for only $21,995. Plus, get 1.9% financing for up to 48 months. Get a great deal and go love spring.
I commute to work. I spend a lot of time in my car. I rely on AAA. Whenever I've called for help, they're there. I use AAA for everything to do with my car. To finance it, to insure it, fix it, even a battery when and wherever I need it. And as a AAA member, I have access to a whole network of savings at places I shop all the time, even online. And that saves time.
Call 1-800-JOIN-AAA or join at AAA.com. Membership for life.
I'm Teddy Bruschi. Tackling a professional football player is not easy. But tackling the high cost of healthcare, now that's easy. Just go where I go, Shields MRI. The Shields family gives you a quality MRI at a sensible price. In fact, they could save you up to $1,000 or more. So get out there and take on those high medical costs. It's easier than taking on a really big fullback. Trust me. Why ever pay for an MRI? Choose to go where I go, Shields MRI.
Imagine finding the furniture you love at low sale prices. Now imagine upgrading to your choice of fabric at no extra charge. It's all possible at the Boston Interiors Custom Upholstery Sale. All our upholstery is made in the USA from quality materials you can trust to last. And this month only, it's all on sale. All chairs, sofas, sleepers, and sectionals. Plus, custom order any available fabric at the same price as stock. Come in soon and save. Sale ends March 31st.
In a crowd of light beers, how long does it take to find the Yingling Light Lager? About that long. 99 calories, 100% authentic lager. Yingling Light Lager. Rethink your light beer.
We hope you'll join us tonight on WBZ News at 11 for an I-Team investigation, the long delays at the state's DNA crime lab in Maynard. Defense attorneys and victims say the delays are impacting justice. Find out what's being done to address the backlog tonight right here on WBZ News at 11. And before we go, in for a wild night and morning.
Yeah, it's going to get rough out there later on tonight. So this is the time that you need to know to plan for here. We are all rain until midnight. After then, the temperatures drop. We get our flash freeze. And tomorrow morning, there'll be snowflakes coming down and temps in the 20s, plus a lot of wind. It will be much rougher out and about outside, and the travel will be treacherous at times. But then look at the next few days. 40 on Friday, or 50 on Saturday. Back here freezing by Monday. Look, that's March. That is a March 7 day if I've ever seen one.
That's why that leprechaun is moving. He's saying it's just too cold.
Trying to stay
It's too cold, but I'm going to be festive.
The screen dare freeze? I don't know. I guess we're...
Find out.
Let's leave you with some pictures coming on 128. This is now in Reading. A few drops of rain coming down, traffic moving, and so are we. We'll be back at 11.